It's 1941. While Nazis cheer, quiet villages throughout Eastern Europe are being overrun by the German army, the SS. Lives are uprooted. The world has turned upside down. Caught in the middle of the horror is a 15-year-old teenager, Fanya. She lives through this nightmare and has survived to tell her story.
My eyes have seen things which no human eyes have seen. And always when I talk to young people, first I don't want to shock them so much. Why? What happens to us? What happened to human beings? What happened to our psyche that ordinary men like you and I can become killers? I don't understand how it was possible for me to survive and to speak about it.
She has a unique story that you haven't heard before, and it will surprise you, maybe shock you a little bit.
I also don't know if I have the right language to explain to you. How does it feel to look at that? I used to ask my father, how long does it take to die?
She does not give us the preferred narrative. She gives us a truth that is painful for her to face.
I'll speak about my scars.
She does it with the courage that says, this is what I experienced, this is who I am, and you will make your judgments.
That is the truth, ladies and gentlemen, and young people.
I think it's wrong to think that every Holocaust survivor has somehow digested their past and is able to communicate effectively and help others.
Good morning. Good morning. Hi.
Today, Fanya shares the details of her ordeal with teens. She understands them, and they all can relate to the pain and madness.
Everybody got a kiss? That every time I speak to kids like you, I feel very honored. Because I was your age. I was 15 when the war broke out. And I went through a lot of pain and horror and fear and starvation and humiliation and degradation. And I want to share it with you. I like those kids from the inner schools. They know what sexual abuse is. They know what hunger is. They know what suffering is. They come from broken homes. And I'm such a role model for them. And they check me out. Once they find out I'm not a funny, I have them. All I want is help young people to go on and not to be victims. I want to give you hope. Basically, this is why I'm here. I come from a little village in the Ukraine. 5,500 inhabitants in my little village, 1,500 Jews, and the rest mostly Ukrainians and Poles. Oh, the Jews had nice little houses on a main street. We used to sing, we used to study. Jews were mostly little artisans, little shopkeepers. Although we were poor, it was a very vibrant life in Skala.
In a small village steeped in tradition, Fanya's family was very progressive. Her father believed in her ability to become someone special through education.
I guess where I come from, girls did not go to school. I mean, they went, whatever, 3, 4 grades, 5 grades, was not obligatory. When I came and I told my grandmother, my paternal grandmother, I want to go to high school, she almost fainted. Unheard of. Unheard of. But I had a father who really believed in me. He wanted me to study. I was a good student, very good. I was a voracious reader. I wanted to be actually a doctor. I wanted to study medicine. But of course, Hitler had other plans for me, so.
Even before Hitler's army laid claim to Skala, there was enough anti-Semitism to hold back a young Jewish girl.
But we were always told, be quiet, hide yourself, you know, don't open up your mouth. And this is how we lived. The Ukrainians thought Jews have some mystique because they ate differently, they prayed differently. You think I was ever invited for Christmas to my friends with whom I went to school? No. Neither was my mother inviting them for Hanukkah. When they used to go from the Mass, from church, Christmas, we used to barricade ourselves, close the doors. There was beating, there was beard pulling, there was stone throwing, there was name calling. There was no dialogue. Anti-Semitism was rampant. That's what happened. And people of different races and different ethnics live together, don't have a dialogue with each other, don't know each other. There's paranoia. There is blaming. They didn't want us.
What the Ukrainians did want was for the Germans to invade and give them autonomy from the harsh Russian government.
The Ukrainians were in ecstasy because Hitler promised them an independent Ukraine, okay? And they hated the Jews anyway, right? The Germans, they used to go to the houses to requisite whatever they could from the Jews. My father had a beautiful library, and they started to trample the books and tear the books. And then my father got very upset. It's the first time I saw my father crying. They said in German, now he cries because of his books. Soon he will cry because of his children. Things got very, very bad. Some of the important men were arrested. All the schools were closed for us. Synagogues were closed. There was hunger because the peasants were forbidden to sell us vegetables or fruit. My father was afraid to go out because they said, well, probably they take the men first to work. They didn't believe that they, you know. So, and my mother had to take care of Artemis, my little brother. So I was the one who started to take care of the family. They sent me out to forage a little food, to beg, to barter. So I was the hero. So I had to grow up overnight.
Being at that time, growing up at that time, going through everything you went through, takes courage.
There was no rhyme or reason. There's no blueprint for survival, okay, at that time. It's not because we were so smart or because we were so holy or we were so good. It just was it. That's what it was. It's very hard to explain. I mean, it's like, I don't understand it myself. I can't think about it. And I cannot explain it to you. I don't have language even. I said, maybe I don't have the right language to explain it to you.
With no work and little food, Fanya and her family were pushed towards starvation. Then Fanya met a man who would offer her family a way out.
He came to the life because some Ukrainian peasant had rotten cucumbers, okay? And he figured, instead of throwing them out, he will sell them to the Jews. And he came with a whole carriage of rotten cucumbers. So my mother gave him my school satchel, said, go and buy the cucumbers. And the Jews were running, Nebo. We were starving already. And they almost trampled me to death. So there was this Ukrainian with a carabiner, and he said, little kid, I'll help you. And I said, why would he help me? He took the satchel, and he got the cucumbers, said, you go home.
The man with the rifle, Jan Stashuk, was a Ukrainian policeman working for the Nazis. Young Fanya was unaware that Jan had been watching her for days.
So all of a sudden, there's a guy knocking at my mother's door with a carabiner. She almost dropped it. He said, here are the cucumbers. And this is how it started.